Hello, welcome to ihomeschoolph, where we'll talk about what really matters most in our homeschooling journey. I am so excited with our guests for today because nakakatuwa nga lang po eh. If you have heard our podcast last week, which is my guest is Madam Joey Villarama, and we talk about self-directed learning. But for now, dahil nga po siguro nga, I was telling our guests a while ago that maybe this is really a divine intervention because this is something that we could be able to learn to two women or two moms about self-directed learning. And ang dami po nagtatanong sa akin about self-directed learning, and I do believe we need to learn about this. And if you will, grasp about this, there's a lot of conflicting information or misconception about self-directed education. So if you are a parent who's thinking of homeschooling and you want to be an unschooling parent, but you're not sure where to start, this is your YouTube video or this is your podcast. So maraming salamat for choosing to be with us. So for our guest for today, she's a mother of two kids, 17 and 10 years old, and she started homeschooling her eldest in 2011. Naku, ang tagal na pala nag-homeschooling. In 2017, they decided to unschool and found that it's really work for their family. And towards the end of 2017 po, that's when she started looking into self-directed learning and democratic school and thought of putting up a center. Na siya po ay presently the executive director ng Abtala. Have you heard about that? She takes care of the operation and oversee the whole program. And she also mentors teens and teach classes and do whatever she can do to have a very good relationship with the parents. So let us welcome Owie Burns de la Cruz. Hello, my dear.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes. Owie, kamusta na?
Doing good. Very busy.
I think, the last time that we saw each other, that was in the conference, no? Tama? I think that was before the pandemic. It's a 2019 conference ba?
2019, yeah. It was right before the pandemic.
Yes. So how are you during this pandemic? Your family, how is it?
Well, yung family namin, syempre tinamaan din kami. But thank God, we all recovered. Meanwhile, for Abtala, we continued everything online. So, hindi pa nagbe-big lockdown, nag-move online na kami.
Ang galing.
So, yeah. Kasi maliit lang yung community namin nun eh. So, sobrang dali. Tapos yun na, nung nag-lockdown na, naka-experience kami ng halos half a block online.
Wow.
Oo. So yun. So, dire-diretso na. Non-stop kami. Pasko lang ang pahinga namin.
Yeah. So, in that point, no, Abtala. But later, you're gonna discuss more of Abtala. But we're gonna discuss today about the misconception about self-directed learning. So, Owie, meron bang difference ang homeschooling sa self-directed learning?
Yes. So, like you mentioned earlier, we were homeschoolers. And we tried out different providers. So usually kasi pag homeschooler ka, and especially dito sa Philippines, meron kang provider, you still follow a certain program, especially if, let's say, closed curriculum. So kailangan mo sundin kung ano yung sinasabi ng provider mo, right? Or pag open curriculum, there is still a lot of input or majority ng direction galing pa rin sa parents. When it comes to self-directed learning, it's really learner-led. So it's interest-led, it's learner-led. And the role of the parent is more of support, mas more of mentor ka, mas more of you're observing. It's a lot of observing sa point of view ng parent and ng mentors. And then so there's a lot of asking, what do you want to learn? And having them decide. So there's a lot of choice, a lot of consent, and there is, it's non-coercive, as in talagang walang pilitan. Everything happens at their time. And I've seen the beauty, the magic of it, maski sa kids ko. No, actually, especially sa kids ko.
Yes, alam mo ba, syempre, with that kind of definition,
Mhm.
parents would, from a traditional, way of thinking about education, it's hard to be able to have that kind of change, especially pag
Mhm.
sinabi nating unschooling, di ba? And definitely, it's something that they really need to learn and research. So, ikaw, I'm sure pinag-aralan mo muna to bago mo venture ang self-directed learning. I still remember, I've been homeschooling for 15 years, but on my end, I'm very eclectic. So I have a little bit of that and a little bit of different types of curriculum depending on the goal is to really honor the pace of my kids and honor their strength.
Mhm.
But then again, I know that some of the parents that I know, they want to be purists or they really want to focus on this unschooling. Pero madami silang doubts on how to pursue this. That's why I want to start with this question, no, Owi. So sabi nila, yung SDE or tinatawag nilang self-directed learning only works for self-starter type kids or for the ones who are hyper motivated o yung mga goal-oriented na tao lang. So most children need an adult to direct their education. So otherwise, they will not be motivated to learn, di ba? Anything that's of value. So what do you think of that?
I think, and I've seen with my own eyes, that that is a myth. Because when we started unschooling, and the reason why nag-decision kami mag-unschool, yung provider that we had noon, mataas yung requirements. And I saw in my son na sobrang papunta na kami sa burnout. And perhaps baka umabot na rin kami sa burnout. And we were just doing school at home. We were just passing requirements for the sake of passing requirements. And sa akin, naramdaman ko that's really not why we chose this path. And then nakita ko rin sa kanya, as in wala siyang motivation, wala siyang interests. As in talagang ayaw niya. And so, what led me to this was may mga pinag-aralan ako, may mga pinanood ako, may mga binasa ako. Na you need to give your kids some space for them to be bored, for them to feel like, I don't know what to do, and I don't know what direction to take. And then once nakahinga sila, which is usually the deschooling process for a lot of people, everybody's naturally curious eh. 'Di ba? Hindi lang sila binibigyan ng space to be curious because ang dami nilang kailangang gawin. So they set aside what they are really interested in to focus on what they need to do. And so now na binigyan ko siya ng space, slowly nakita ko, you can do what, sabi ko sa kanya, you can do whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you what to do anymore. And then a few, I don't know if it was a few weeks or a few months, he started watching lots of drawing videos on YouTube. And hindi siya nagdo-drawing nung nag-homeschool kami. Pag binibigyan ko siya ng drawing tasks, na-frustrate siya. So, iniwasan kong magpa-drawing sa mga activities namin. Little did I know, na yun pala yung direction na bagay sa kanya kasi talented pala siya when it came to that. So he really taught himself how to draw, watching lots of videos, and then he started looking into history. And hindi ako ma-history. Sorry. Pero hindi ko naging focus yon. Pinag-aralan lang namin dahil requirement siya. Pero hindi dahil I'm super interested in it. He picked it up on his own. And so from halos walang interest or walang motivation because of that space, dire-diretso na. And nagpapalit siya ng interest every now and then. So ako talaga yung support. Sa daughter ko, who is now 10 years old, she's been unschooled since birth. And we go through many seasons. May seasons na hanap yung motivation niya. May seasons na I don't want to do anything. And as a parent, I have to be okay with that. Pero dahil nakita ko nga yung effect niya, binibigyan ko lang sila ng space. True enough, after a while, they'll pick up a book, they'll pick up a new hobby, they'll learn more on their own. And even sa teens namin sa Abtala, nakita ko din yun. So not true. That myth is not true. They just need space.
Yun nga, yun nakakatakot sa ibang parent, Owi, di ba? Yung parang bang, yung sinabi mo kanina na parang, kailangan maging okay ako doon.
Mhm.
Mahirap yun, Not everyone could be able to do that. And I do believe before you go to that, na ma-embrace mo yung ganung situation. Kasi from what I have learned on through homeschooling, from the word self, no? Which means
Mhm.
coming from within, not being directed by force by another person,
Mhm.
di ba? So basically, I do believe it's an individual's ideas respected, no?
Mhm.
Interests and goals are being respected and honored.
Mhm.
That's how I define what you have said. And it's a very good journey that you have that kind, parang while you're talking about that, nakita ko how close you are and how you are really diligently watching and observing your kids on that. And kailangan talaga ng full attention, di ba? So thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that on that end. Okay, let's go to another myth kasi ang dami nating myth eh.
Okay.
Okay. So sabi nila, Owi, children do not need or want to take any formal classes or sign up for any group activities because most of their learning is done solo by self. Misconception ba yun? Do not need daw.
That's also a myth based on what I've seen in my own home and in our community. The condition kasi sa self-directed learning when it comes to classes, it has to be their choice.
Hmm.
Okay? So, walang pilitan, or kung merong input yung parent, what I encourage other parents, because I also have seasons where my son, especially, 17 na siya, may mga seasons kami na we collaborate, may negotiation, na baka naman you can take this, alam mo yun, and try it out lang. If hindi talaga siya pasok sa ginagawa mo, okay, I'll back off. But, maybe give it a chance. So, doon pumapasok yung relationship. Kaya importante yung relationship.
Yeah.
So, the classes have to be chosen by the learner, right? And they have to be given that choice to say, this isn't working for me. I think I can use my time better if I do something else, which is something very common that we see. And we ask them. So it allows them to be, it allows them to make, wise decisions. There you go. Yung critical thinking nila, yung wise decision nila, yung they're making an informed decision. Ini-empower mo sila as early as possible. Sige, you want to quit a class, it's not for you. Can you tell me why? What are the different issues? What are the different challenges? Do you want to do something else? Why do you want to do that instead of this? Providing them with all these different options and allowing them to decide. Now, what does this do in the long run? Lumaki kasi tayo, di ba, sa generation, marami tayo, lumaki tayo sa generation na people tell you what to do, when to do it, where to be exactly.
Yeah,
And
I
then all of a
agree.
sudden, pag adult ka na, tapos ka na sa university, o bala ka na dyan. And you spend the first few years in your 20s trying to figure out, trying to decide things for yourself. Kasi ultimo damit or anything, you don't have control over that. So ito, nasasanay sila mag-decide. Bata pa lang sila. Which I think is a really good life skill.
I totally agree on that end, no? Kasi
Mhm.
kumbaga, napapractice na rin yung decision-making process nila na wow,
Mhm.
and also, they're also excited how to discover themselves. So, tayo rin naman, di
Mhm.
ba, pag I still remember nung gusto nating mag-college, di ba parang kasi yung barkada ko, gano'n, gagaya ka na lang. Pero
Mhm.
hindi tayo naturuan or maybe our parents will think na ito yung malaking kita, so dapat dito ka, yung gano'n.
Mhm.
Hindi, we were not practiced to be able to really decide for ourselves. Kasi nga
Yes.
may certain norm or certain program that we have to follow. And I do believe, no, pag yung sinasabi mo, may exercise yung parang sinasabi na if the activity is self-chosen because the individual find it beneficial to his whatever educational pursuits, definitely, no, dapat ibigay
Mhm.
mo. Dapat
Yes.
pakinggan mo. Dapat itry mo rin as a parent. You journey with them as well, no? Thank you so
Mhm.
much for telling
Can
us.
I add to that?
Sure, sure.
Kasi baka akalain nila na, ay, kailangan ng maraming classes. Naku, magastos yan or whatever. part of self-directed learning is also teaching the learner to identify, is this something you want to learn within a class setting, with a community, or is
Good.
this something you want to learn on your own and you have to figure it out on your own? So yung choosing, how to learn certain things. So maraming bagay, they learn their thing, they learn stuff on their own. So pwede siya parehas, pwedeng paghaluin yan and may balance siya talaga. So, yon. So, baka mag-panic na, ay, kailangan pala naka-classes sila. Not necessarily.
Thank you for that. Alam mo, nakakatuwa lang din, no? Kasi siguro kung nag-start ako early, maybe I was able to do it in a long run. But I mean, doing unschooling, no? It's just that at that time, Owi, kasi noon parang ang hirap magsimula kasi parang nung old school pa. Ang hirap. On my end, I was really, okay, I need to be honest. I was really like a monster at that time, kasi I am one of that parent na sinasabi mo na, I love people telling me what to do. Parang may comfort ako doon. Kasi pag walang ganun, parang mawawala ako, parang mangangapa ako, parang blind. Pero
Mhm.
with unschooling and self-directed learning, ako, siguro I was able to do that, siguro mga third year ko or fourth year. Hindi
Mhm.
naging automatic. But anyway, baka humaba pa tong chikahan natin at masali pa nun. But the next misconception is, sabi nila, no, Owi, sabi nila, parents are not involved daw or minimally involved lang with their children's learning because kids are left alone to whatever they wish. Dangerous daw ito. Is this true?
It actually depends on the family. So there is no hard rule kung makikialam ka o hindi. Kasi like sinabi mo kanina, may mga purista. There are unschoolers and self-directed learners, naka-hands off talaga yung parents. And then what they do is they just wait for stories. And if that works for their family, if that's their family culture, if that's what they're called to do, if that's what their children need for a certain season, then of course, hindi mo naman ipapahamak yung anak mo, di ba? But
Yeah.
there are also families that are very involved. Like kagaya yung mga examples ko sa'yo, I love watching them. Akala nila, naka-hands off ako ng todo na wala akong pakialam. But I actually watch them. I actually take note of things na, they like and they're interested in, or ano yung mga requests nila for a certain season. And I've seen other families as well. Ang root kasi niya, relationship talaga. Kasi the learner can attend classes, can learn on their own, but at the end of the day, gugustuhin niya pa rin mag-share eh. And if they have a good relationship with their parents, ikukwento niya yun sa magulang niya na ito yung mga natutunan ko and all that. Or if the parent is really involved, tatanong ka like, hey, what did you learn today? I want to learn what you're learning. So there are many ways to be there, to be involved. Pero depende siya sa pamilya.
I agree. So, ganun din ba kayo,
Mhm.
Owi, on your end? No, it's a
Yes.
case-to-case basis. Maganda yung sinabi mong point kasi feeling nila parang totally wala kang para ma-brand ka as unschooling, huwag kang makialam. Pero I agree with you kasi season-season naman yun eh.
Mhm.
It's about, the goal here is how do you respect your kids' learning process, no? How do you
Mhm.
honor them as an individual? Not trying to have that, yung nga tinatawag nating helicopter parenting. Kasi di ba parang, you have that kind of control that you must learn this, something like that. So, iba na yun, ano? Ibang route yun. So, I
Mhm.
do believe, siguro you have to, as a parent who's researching about self-directed learning, take it 1 year at a time or take it 2 months every
Yes.
now and then and maybe do a shadow play if you want to check out some of the parents like Owie and
Mhm.
Abtala, yung what they're doing. So, ma-feel mo yung ambience or ma-feel mo how does it goes. It doesn't have to be na pag sinabi mo self-directed learning ka na this year, parang totally kailangan self-directed learning. Ang tanong ko, no, ito rin tanong din to ng mga parents, ang unschooling ba or self-directed, meron ba siyang curriculum?
May mga kilala akong self-directed learners na gumagamit pa rin sila. Pero because choice ng anak nila. My daughter right now, as in saktong-sakto, just this week, she picked up a textbook. Kasi may bookshelf kami ng sobrang daming homeschool stuff. Pero hindi ko yung pinipilit sa kanya. Andiyan lang yun. So one time, she picked it up and she's like, oh, pwede na sa akin to. Can I do this? Sige, gamitin mo. Go. And just earlier, she was like, can we buy more textbooks? Sure, no problem. So again, it's learner-led. So again, it depends sa season ng anak nyo, what they need at a certain time na pwede nilang gamitin yon. May mga times naman talaga na talagang wala. And again, as a parent, you should be okay with that because yung sources ng information nila, especially in this day and age, sobrang daming pwedeng pagkuhaan ng lessons or, your information. And one of the other things na nakakalimutan ng mga parents is, porque nag-games yung mga anak nyo, it doesn't necessarily equate to they're doing nothing.
Yeah,
Pag kunwari nakatulala lang sila, they're doing nothing, they're not motivated. You don't know that. Kasi what if playing that game is research? What if playing that game teaches them decision-making or teamwork with other people? What if yung tulala nila, ini-imagine pala nila yung plot ng story nila? And once it's complete, susulat na nila. Kasi your process may be different from their process. So again, papasok ulit dun yung relationship, yung space, yung trust na your child is awesome and creative. Trust.
Siguro kailangan unang-unang mabago talaga tayo as parent, no?
Yes. I used to be a helicopter mom.
Okay, yes.
So it was a lot of unlearning for me para maging effective siya sa mga anak ko.
Bago ako pumunta sa next question ko, yung lagi mong binabanggit yun na parang kailangan maging okay ako dyan. Paano ka napunta sa ganong level, if I may ask Owie? How did God change your heart in that level na naging okay ka na?
Nakita ko yung damage na ginawa ko sa anak ko by being a helicopter mom, by being so controlling. Na-frustrate ako as a parent that he didn't have a voice. Na he will just go with whatever I tell him to do, na parang, okay, sige. Nag-o-obey nga siya. Pero alam mo na hindi yun bukal sa loob niya or hindi naman talaga yun yung gusto niya. And I saw that he was unhappy. And even sa daughter ko, lalo na nung younger years niya and everybody else was learning to read. Tapos siya, parang hirap na hirap siya to learn how to read. Oh no, bumabalik na naman yung pagka-monster mom ko. And I saw the damage, yung expectation ko, yung, hindi, kailangan ako yung masunod. Kasi sumisilip-silip yung mommy na yun every now and then. So I have to silence that inside. I'm like, God, help me talaga. Because I saw how much I was hurting them. I meant well, but yun nga, ganun nga yung nakikita ko. And so when I gave them space, I said, okay, I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna trust God. Because, yes, my intentions are good, but si God, siya yung nag-create sa kanila. So I'm gonna allow God to move in their lives. And I'm gonna take a step back, fix myself, work on my heart and my mind, and trust that God's got them. So yun, so I think that's how we got to this. And when I gave them that space, sobrang gumanda yung relationship namin.
Yeah.
Healing came. Naramdaman ko na they do things because they want to do things. Ano yun, may mga moments pa rin, syempre, hindi mo may iwasan yun sa parent-child na parang may tension. But there's more dialogue. And mas open. So yun. So I guess that's what brought me to this place.
Yeah. Yung term mo na sinasabi na kailangan maging okay ako doon. That's good. Totoo yun no? Kasi I do believe, I know we always want the best for our kids. Sino bang parent na hindi? But at the end of the day, I think God knows better what, He plans for our kids. It's just that we just need to let go and let God, no? Thank you for sharing that, Owie. So for our next misconception, no? Sabi, yung self-directed learning daw is really only best in early elementary school, no? Kasi as kids age, they will miss out on important information and fall behind their peers. if they don't follow whatever, DepEd is saying about them. Totoo ba yan sa early education lang din? Sinasabi rin nga naman nila is pang matanda na rin daw or teens lang dapat. 'Di ba? Sinasabi nila kasi at least mas kilala na rin sarili nila, mas mature na sila. So, may ganun bang factor yon? And syempre kasi isa sa mga takot siguro iniisip nila is syempre parang how can you be following that DepEd learning competencies? Pag 'di ba? Pag self-directed learner ka kung wala kang kind of a structure. So, ang dami ko bang tinanong sa isang misconception na to? Madami, no?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's say, I'll look at it on the flip side. Let's say you follow yung lahat ng kailangan, right? For grade level, these are the things that you need to learn, etc. We went through that. I went through that all the years in school. After school, may learning gaps ba ako? Marami. Just because it's taught doesn't necessarily mean natutunan ko yon, na-absorb ko yon, naintindihan ko yon. Even in homeschooling, hindi lahat ng tinuturo mo na-absorb ng bata. Now, on the flip side, wala kang sinusundan na program. Hindi ba sila madedelay? May learning gaps ba sila? Like I said, I think kahit anong model mo, magkakaroon ng gaps every now and then. But the great thing is you can always go back and learn it. I understood basic math concepts when I became a homeschool mom. Hindi ko siya naintindihan when I was in school.
Ay, pareho tayo.
I learned so much in science and even history, kahit hindi ako ganun sobrang interested. When I went back to learn it. So you can always go back and you can always fill those gaps. When it comes to, baka mapag-iwanan sila and all that, I am so amazed at the things that my kids know at this age. Pag kinompare ko, kunyari, maging bata ulit ako, kung ano yung alam ko noon, mas marami silang alam kesa sa akin at this age nila. And even the community, remember, I spend every day with our teens. Nakakagulat yung mga alam nila and everything. So, if you let them follow their interest, they're not gonna stop here. Na parang, ito lang yung kailangan ko matutunan. No, I'm so interested in this. Magdidig sila na magdidig. And that just leads everywhere. Just like how adults learn. Diba? Na it just leads us to so many different places na walang boundaries. So there, I hope that answers that question. Different angles showing you that.
Yeah, that's true. Pero on your end, to be honest, are you now under a provider?
No.
Oh, you're not under a provider.
We're really unschooling without records and without like a fixed program.
Okay. So parents, you also have that choice. The thing is, I still remember on my third year, totally wala. Hindi ako nagpa-accredit because I was really trying to find myself. Kasi parang hindi ko na gusto yung sarili ko as a homeschooler. Kasi nga, I was telling you a while ago, I was really a monster. And then, a while ago when you were sharing that, I was really sad about all of my responses. So that's why actually, that is the early academics. Is my response as a parent, as a mom, as a homeschooler. So I said sorry to my kids. So I decided this year, we're not going to be under a provider. And I still remember the principal of the one that I enrolled to. No, why are you doing that? Gagaya sa yung ibang tao, ganyan-ganyan. No, I have to do this on my own. I'm not saying that they should imitate me, but this, I need it. So when I actually, from that start on, talagang naging relaxing homeschooling namin and it was fun for my kids as well, no? Hindi ako tumigil ng pagtuturo or it's just that it's more of parang tinanggal ko lang yung tali. Kasi that you have to do this, you have to do that. Yun ang gusto kong matanggal talaga. And I really had to say sorry to my kids as well because of that. Because I'm forcing them to do the things that they don't like to do. So when that happened, talaga nagkaroon ng, freedom, no? Yun yung tinatawag na talagang flexibility in homeschooling. Yes. So, I do believe whatever you choose, whether unschooling or not, no, actually you'll be educated. 'Di ba? It's just a title that we are, kasi na brought up the way we should on that level. But then again, I know it's something that we need to grasp. That's why, sabi nga ni Owie a while ago, no, kailangan nating pag-aralan, no? Kailangan nating, we have to take it one day at a time. We don't have to do it, in such a way. There's seasons in life that we need to respect as well. Thank you for that, Owie. Now, for our last misconception. So sabi nila, parents must hold a degree daw. Pag unschooling, kailangan may degree. And sabi nila, or related field, in order to properly support and guide your child's education. Siyempre, para bang kung wala kang degree, paano pa mas mag-guide yung anak mo kung ikaw mismong parent, wala kang degree? So, what do you think about this, Owie?
I know so many people who did not go to university, who don't have degrees, who are brilliant people and who love learning and don't stop learning. So I don't think a degree is enough, parang is a requirement for it. I think the requirement is that you should just be a lifelong learner. Doesn't necessarily mean a formal learning, diba? Pwedeng you're into so many things na sobrang non-traditional and you keep innovating and you keep learning from life, from people. And I think it's the heart that matters versus any degree or any records. Para maturuan mo yung anak mo. And, babalik ulit tayo, relationship.
Thank you, Owie. Talagang nasagot mo lahat ng aming misconception for today. Thank you so much. Siguro if you're gonna encapsulate this conversation, what do you think is your advice for parents gearing on this curriculum, or what we call facet, which is unschooling and self-directed learner? What would you give them?
Okay. So for those who are studying it or considering it, please make sure that when you make the decision, it's a decision you make with your child. Really learn it together, because the decision has to come from them. And they have to know that when you make a decision to become a self-directed learner, or an unschooler even, that you trust them. And that you're doing this because you're giving them that space to really find their voice, to find what they're really interested in, to find the path na gusto nilang biyahihin, diba? So, and then nandun yung dapat yung assurance nyo that I'm here to support you. I'm here if you need me to step in. What else? Talk to other parents who've been doing this for a while now. Talk to teens, talk to kids who are unschoolers, meet them, and based on that, saka kayo magdesisyon. And of course, syempre, based on your faith, you pray about it, you think about it, diba? And I'm sure you're gonna do what's best for your family. Basta involve them. Especially sa model na to. Kailangan involved sila from day one.
Siguro, this during time of pandemic, madami na rin tayong natutunan. Kumbaga, nalaman natin na pwede talaga matuto sa loob ng bahay. No? Which is, I think, na-force tayo in a good way, especially getting to know more of our kids, getting to know more who they are talaga. And maganda yung sinabi mo siguro, I think, if I'm gonna add to what you have said, maybe it's the fear, no? Fear of what might, nakasanayan natin, or something that we have to unlearn. And sometimes change is really, how can I say? It's not that easy. But I think the most important or the most permanent thing in this world is change. And iba't ibang klase ng ugali ng anak natin, hindi natin sila pwedeng ilagay sa box And I have learned in these homes, it's powerful to be able sometimes to shed those old paradigms that are not serving us well, no? And to choose to be able to live in trust, in joy, and maybe isipin natin it's an adventure with our kids. Getting to
True.
know ourselves and getting to know our kids.
Mhm.
And so I'm really adhering, no, parents, if you want to know more about this, please follow Owi, no, at Abtala. They have an Instagram account. Can you
Mhm.
please give us some information about this, Owi? Where they can
Sure.
find you?
Sure. So you can check out our website. It's www.abotala.com. You can visit our social media. We're Abotala High on Instagram. And then we're Abotala High, Launchpad on Facebook. Kasi we have different programs for the different ages. So medyo nakahiwalay ng konti yung older teens. Kasi syempre iba na rin yung needs nila. So iba yung support nila. So, but if you just go to Abotala on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find us. You can also follow me, Owi de la Cruz, on Instagram because I post a lot of our unschooling stories, our journey,
That's it.
especially ngayon. Ayan.
Yes. So, merong activity si Abotala this summer, no? Ano yun?
Yes.
Can you share it with us?
Sure. But before I do, can I tell them a little about Abotala para at least alam nila if they've never heard of Abotala? So we're a self-directed learning community. It's for teens ages 12 to 22. So under that is Abotala High and Launchpad. We offer classes that are based on their interests. So they tell us what kinds of classes they want to have, what their interests are, and then we find mentors for that. And our classes keep changing every 8 weeks, and they are part of the decision process. They vote on the classes. They've even helped me hire mentors. Nandun sila sa interview and they tell me, oh, I think that's a great mentor or not. So sobrang involved yung mga teens within our community. So it's really a community where we value their uniqueness, their creativity. Hindi hiwa-hiwalay yung grade levels nila. So it's a lot of vertical socialization. It's a lot of choices kasi nga they choose the classes they want to be part of. There's a lot of flexibility because you can decide how many classes to take per block, or you can take a mental health break. And that's another great thing. So in between our blocks, we have mental health breaks. So after our upcoming mental health break, we will have our summer block, which starts on March 28th. That's gonna run for 4 weeks this year. We're changing it up a bit. Kasi usually 2 months yan. But we're like, it's summer. Let's have fun. Let's do something different. So that's gonna run all the way till the end of April. So yung buong Holy Week is break. Don't worry. So yung mga may plano ng Holy Week, wala kaming pasok during that time. It's all online. And we're using a lot of different virtual spaces. We use Gather, we use Slack, we use Discord, we use Zoom, lahat ng possible na pwede namin gamitin, traditional and non-traditional. And the great thing about our summer block is we always tell our teens that you need to step out of your comfort zone every now and then. This block, all of our mentors, we're not going to be teaching classes we usually teach. We asked our team members to suggest per mentor, ano yung mga gusto nyong classes na ituro namin na kakaiba. And so that's gonna pull the mentors out of their comfort zone. And it's gonna be something new for everyone. So sobrang excited lahat. I'm actually gonna be co-facilitating a class about gaming. Hindi ako gamer. But my son is a
So,
gamer.
matututo ka rin, no, di ba?
Yes, and that's the point of the class. We're going to be encouraging parents to join that. So it's medyo tandem. So doon naka-focus yung relationship. Now we're giving them a platform to be with their teens. So that's a little teaser for our summer block. And if you want more information, just get in touch with us and we'll set a family meeting to see if this is a good fit for you.
Yes. Speaking about having a good fit, naku, sana naabutan ko si Abtala nung time ko. Dahil ng mga anak ko magka-college na. Sayang.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kaya wag niyong sayangin to, ha, mga parents. Check out Abtala. If you think this will work for you, check out and follow them in their Instagram account. And before I end, I just want to make a disclaimer. It doesn't mean that we are posting here or we're having this kind of video. I know there's a lot of different methods and we respect that, but we encourage you, whatever works for you and whatever works for your family, yun po ang gawin nyo. At the end of the day, we are not this is what you need to do. No, no. Kami po rito ni Owie, okay, we want what's best for your family and what God has called you to do. Maraming salamat. So please check out Abtala. Okay? And you will not regret it. Maraming salamat po. Always remember, in homeschooling, relationship is more important than academics. Ako po si Novian Tan, your homeschool coach, and I homeschool. Bye, Owie. I will see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.